Now, change can happen just as quickly when you have the right tools. Now, the second point that's very, very important for you to get, especially if you're not getting the kind of results that you want, either physically, emotionally, spiritually, or financially, or you're playing at a level that's far below where you feel you should be playing, or if you're not making the kind of money that you want to make, or not out there launching on the path of your passion, or perhaps you're holding yourself back in terms of your success. First you got it, then you don't, then you got it, then you don't, maybe with money. If you have any patterns of self-sabotage that have repeatedly appeared in your life, then you want to listen very closely, because the source of those patterns of self-sabotage always comes down to one thing. If you want to look at this, look at it this way. A lot of people go out there and they've seen The Secret, for example, and I think The Secret is awesome. It's incredible. What it did was it brought personal and professional development into the mainstream. Now, The Secret talks about focusing on what you want. And when you focus on what you want, you attract that which you focus on. It's the law of attraction. It's one of many laws that could potentially be looked upon as being other secrets. The problem with this is that it's only a very small part of the story. See, the real secret behind The Secret is this. You have a conscious mind and you have an unconscious mind. Your conscious mind is everything that you're conscious of at any given moment. Your unconscious mind is everything else. And the secret, the real secret is that 95% of where you channel your focus is determined unconsciously. So we go through our lives, and you have 5%, you're employing the secret, but what about the other 95%? So if you're dissatisfied with the results in any area of your life, this is why. Now, you've got a conscious mind, you've got that unconscious mind, we talked about that. And it's also described as being the subconscious mind sometimes. Neurobiologists these days, this is where I came up with the 95%. They're saying that it's only about 5% of who we are that actually would be considered to be conscious. 95% of who you are is unconscious. So what happens if you set a goal consciously and you say, yeah, I want to make more money, but that's just 5% of who you are? What happens if at the other 95% at the unconscious level feels that you have to work too hard to make money, or you have to give things up, or money and happiness don't go hand in hand, or that you can't have a great relationship and have money, and relationships are more important to you? I'll tell you what, if you got all that stuff going on, then you got 5% of yourself moving toward the goal, right? Even if you're consciously focusing on what you want, the other 95% is going everywhere but. And this, by the way, I'm talking to everybody out there, because the same thing applies across all contexts. Let's say you want to have a great relationship, and consciously you say, well, I want a great relationship. What happens if at the unconscious level, if you've got anger toward the opposite sex, or a fear about what being in a relationship with another person would mean, like fear about what you'd have to give up, or loss of control, or a loss of freedom, or maybe you got guilt from past relationships. In every one of these cases, you got 5% of yourself moving toward the goal that you've stated. You know, I want a great relationship. Once again, where's the other 95% going? Right, everywhere but. So it's the same thing in health and fitness. You may say, yeah, I want to weigh my ideal weight. But if at the unconscious level, you have anger toward society for societal expectations, anger toward your parents because you weren't treated the way that you wanted to be treated, or you think that nobody in your family has ever had it, so why should you be able to weigh your ideal weight, or you think that people might not love you for who you really are if you weighed your ideal weight, or you've got addictions to food and you use it to alter your mood. Here's the deal. Incongruence between the conscious intentions and the unconscious mind is the cause of self-sabotage. In fact, Dr. Milton Erickson, a classically trained psychiatrist and one of the most famous family therapists of all time, or actually a famous therapist, he was a famous therapist in general. He's the guy who in 1958 single-handedly got the American Medical Association to accept hypnosis as a legitimate therapeutic modality, in my opinion. So he would use conversational hypnosis, where you just talk on and you find yourself going into a trance. Now, one of the things that Erickson said, this is a quote from him, and I'm going to paraphrase here. He said essentially that people will have their problems because they're out of rapport with their unconscious mind. In other words, you have the problems that you have because of a lack of rapport between the conscious and the unconscious mind. Now, to better understand the difference between the conscious mind and the unconscious mind is to think of it as being like a captain and a crew on a ship at sea. The captain's in charge, but the crew runs the ship. Conscious mind is the captain, unconscious is the crew, right? And what do we get in ship terminology when the crew loses respect for the captain? You say it. mutiny. And don't we get that in our own lives all the time? I mean, we're conscious, we want something, yet our behaviors don't support it. It's time for rapid change. It's time for massive breakthroughs to success. So I want you to get ready for this free video training series that comes based around concepts from our Breakthrough to Success live seminar program. And I'm also going to make some exciting announcements about the direction of our companies and things that are coming up over the next several videos that you had the opportunity to watch. And the reason why I'm putting so much content in here is because I want you to watch it again and again. And I'm going to try to say that without stumbling. Take my communication course too, by the way. And rewatch this and relearn these concepts. Because once you've really got the concepts, you watch it over and over again, you saturate yourself, you can begin to take charge of the rest of your life. And you can move toward a bright and a compelling future where you can make all the money you want. You can have all the levels of happiness and fulfillment that you truly deserve. So from this video, remember 2 primary points. Number 1, change can happen in the flash of an eye when you truly understand it. And number 2, when you learn to create rapport with your unconscious mind between the captain and the crew, there's nothing you can't achieve. In future training videos, you'll learn many ideas, strategies, and tools to immediately transform your business and your life. And they're going to be based upon these concepts to a large extent. So watch out for our next training video. It'll be coming to you shortly. And until then, love deeply, shine brightly, and make every day an extraordinary adventure.